As we come to the end of the year, we celebrate this kingship of Jesus. This kingship is not like any other kingship, right? It's not like what we see in kings, which a just king would rule his kingdom and the people would flourish, or like kings that we've seen that end up turning into tyrants or dictators. But for us as Americans, a kingship is very foreign. I mean, many decades ago, we fought to not have kings and queens. But so for us, what does this mean, this kingship of Jesus? Being unlike any other is that He came to show us our dignity, to show us what we are destined for, and that is to reside in His kingdom. He rules not like any earthly king, but He ruled with humility, even offering Himself on the cross. And He offers Himself, and that very offering opened up the gates for His kingdom to come. And so what does that mean for us as citizens? Because we became citizens of this kingdom by our baptism. And it's written into our hearts, right? We all yearn for some kind of meaning or purpose. We all want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. In fact, it is that very feeling of being part of something bigger than ourselves that gave rise to what we consider royalty in this country. We call them celebrities, right? They don't really offer much to society other than watching them, many of them destroying their lives, and all of us are being like, ooh, right? I mean, that's pretty much how some kings and queens live in their relationship with their citizens. And that yearning is there. But for us, right, regular people of the kingdom, that yearning is still there, right? Men, the yearning for something more is in every man, right? We see that this is why men love war movies or secret agent movies, right? There's always something that the man is striving for more than themselves. I was on a plane last night and I saw like the most recent Mission Impossible movie, or at least part of it, because the plane landed before it ended. You know, I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, I'll watch this. Why not? Nothing else. I couldn't read. They turned the lights off in the cabin. It was already night. And so I'm watching this, and in the movie, you know, these characters are, the main character, Ethan Hunt, they're all telling him, like, every moment you've had up until now has led to this, or this is your destiny. This is why you exist. And, you know, I was in the chair like, yeah, all right, go, get him. I don't know how that ends because I haven't seen the ending yet, but there's something in that where, like, yeah, go for it. I mean, I could never jump off a building and like land on the street and just, you know, let go of the parachute and let it fly away and just walk like nothing happened. That's not reality. But in our life, this yearning for something more is from God, because we are all citizens of His kingdom. So what are our purpose? How do we answer that call that there's something more? And that call, that answer is the reason for the vocation of your life, whether that's married life, priesthood, religious life, that life of bringing about the kingdom. When one lives their vocation, they're bringing about the kingdom. And so if you're called to marriage within your family, you're called to bring about the kingdom within your very home. For all of us who work, we are called to bring about the kingdom in our workplace. The kingdom of heaven isn't somewhere and some future date, right? It's not at some distant like planet beyond the universe or whatever. No, that's not the Catholic faith. But the kingdom is now. And so by the choices we make, we are choosing whether or not that kingdom becomes unveiled to us ever more and more. And if the kingdom is not being unveiled, then what is in its absence but hell, right? Our world, I mean, you just turn on the news and our world seems like it's going a little crazy. Yeah, that's because, one, the news only covers the unveiling of hell pretty much nowadays, since journalism has pretty much gone downhill. But it's also because we are not good at bringing leaders up. We haven't been good at it, because there hasn't been a worthy leader in the time that I've existed. There hasn't been any worthy congressman or senator, not in the way that Jesus approaches leadership and a sense of kingdom. And so what are we missing? At some point, when does bringing the kingdom into the world kind of get skewed and it becomes towards the service of the self and what's in it for me, which is the soldier or the citizen of hell? We may not find a worthy leader in our lifetime, but we can at least do our part in raising children, in working with coworkers to help bring about more of who they are, more of who we are. So one day there is a person who has fully recognized their mission in Jesus Christ and takes on that responsibility to lead others in ways that bring about the kingdom of God here and now. And it is not an easy mission. The church has not done a great job in helping families in the last decades. I hope, God willing, that is going to change in the coming years. It has to. And so today, spend 20 minutes, today, tomorrow, thinking about the reality of what it's like for the kingdom of God to be fully present in the here and now. What kind of life would that be? How would we treat each other if the kingdom was unveiled in its fullness here and now? Use your imagination, meditate on it, because we don't spend a lot of time doing that. Chances are we probably spend more of a time in the reality of hell, but it doesn't have to be like that. So you are a citizen of the kingdom of God. Imagine what that kingdom will be like. There is a greater purpose in your life, a greater sense of meaning was given to you at your baptism. Accept it and move forward. That's the only way we'll see a sense of leadership that emulates a true sense of what it means to be a leader. And so 20 minutes. Give God 20 minutes and He'll give you a mission that is not impossible. It may seem impossible, but I mean, if Ethan Hunt can last 8 movies, I'm sure we can last 20 minutes just thinking of the possibilities. So accept it before time runs out, before maybe decades from now we find ourselves in a sense of self-destruction. We owe it to ourselves, the children, and the future.